everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Let's see what kind of great questions you got today. I'm looking forward to these. Question number 1. How cool is it to be included in Arctic frost? Not so great. I'll be honest. I was a little surprised. In case you haven't heard, there was targeting of pretty much, I would say, most Republicans and top leadership in the Republican Party, any sort of influencers, any sort of kind of conservative-leaning organizations back during Joe Biden's tenure as president. And I was included in that. We were targeted, surveilled in different ways, and it was, I would say, probably all very inappropriate and maybe illegal as well. I guess the reason I is because I was the co-chair of the RNC. But yeah, nothing good about that. And it's funny because I actually was surprised myself to find out about this. And I got an email from Chuck Grassley's office. Senator Chuck Grassley is the one who's kind of heading this whole information being divulged to the American public out in this investigation into Arctic frost. And I got an email from his office, and I swear I thought it was like a phishing email. I did not realize that it was like a legitimate email from his office notifying me that I was included in this as well. So I didn't even read it. And then later that night, my husband said something to me, and I was like, wait, what? And he goes, yeah, you know, your name is in this. And I go, oh, let me go back and look at this email from Senator Chuck Grassley's office. Turns out there it was. But this is more of the same from these lunatics on the left. This is desperation and what it looks like at its worst, because these people were looking to tap into the phones and emails and accounts in any way they could of Republicans and people within the party who were influential in making a difference. And why were they trying to do that? They claimed this is for the safety and security of America. How? What am I doing? I'm the co-chair of the RNC. I'm just trying to make things better, make sure elections are free, fair, and transparent. There was absolutely no rationale behind it. And then a lot of people weren't even informed about it. Apparently, Ted Cruz was one of these people who wasn't informed about it. And the judge in the case decided that he should not know about it, about this surveillance and apparent tapping of his phone and the information being given from AT&T or Verizon or whoever he used, because it was risky that he would then delete things and try to destroy evidence. Oh, you mean like Hillary Clinton did with her 33,000 emails? Like that? Oh, I see. There's absolutely nothing that would suggest that Senator Ted Cruz would do such a thing, nor any of us would. We're all upstanding people who are trying to make sure that the best thing happens for our country. So pretty ridiculous. I'm personally very interested to see what happens with all of this. It's a violation for any of this to happen to any of us. But it's kind of more of the same from these people because they were desperate and they had no idea what they were going to do. They knew Donald Trump was gaining momentum and steam and that he was likely going to become the next president. So I guess they were looking for anything they could get to try to attack us, to try and, you know, ensure that he didn't become president again. It's more of the same. Just like the lawfare, the indictments, the court cases, all of that. This is in the same vein. And pretty gross stuff, but not surprising from this party. Next question. Are you and Eric hot rod people? What kind of cool cars do you and Eric have if you are? By hot rod, I'm not totally sure what you mean, so I'm going to go ahead and say the answer to that is no. I will say we have a lot of friends who are into car racing. So they're very into, I assume, kind of like hot rod cars, but these are more like race cars. We do have in our garage in Florida a Corvette that was like restored and refurbed and the whole thing by my dad. And it's a 1961 red Corvette convertible. I'm fairly certain it's 1961. And if I'm wrong, my dad is going to let me know. But it was like the version of the first car he ever had. And that car apparently got stolen and ended up in like a river. I don't really know the backstory. But once upon a time, he decided you know what? I'm going to get the same car. I'm going to refurb it. I'm going to make it restored to greatness. And he ended up giving it to us as a wedding gift. And so we have that car. Other than that, we're pretty basic. My favorite car of ours to drive is actually a Jeep that Eric restored himself. It's a CJ7, stick shift, no doors, just got the front glass, and it's got 5-point harnesses in it. And nothing is more fun to my kids in the summer. We have it up at our house in New York. Nothing is more fun than jumping in the Jeep with me and riding around town. They absolutely love it, but I can only take one at a time because there's only 2 seats available in this thing. But it's so cool. I love driving it around, although when you have a Secret Service detail following you with a Jeep, maybe you don't look so cool. So that's about as hot rod as we get around my house. Okay, next question. This Christmas, a powerful new film is coming from Angel Studios, David, and I can't wait for you to see it. David is an animated musical about the shepherd boy who becomes Israel's greatest king, a story of courage, faith, and divine destiny. The animation is breathtaking, the music is beautiful, and it reminds us that even the smallest person can do something extraordinary. If you love The Prince of Egypt or The King of Kings, this film delivers that same beauty, music, and heart. The perfect experience for the whole family. Before it hits theaters on December 19th, you can start the journey now with Young David, the prequel series that shows how David learned faith, courage, and leadership as a boy. This is the kind of storytelling families have been waiting for. Meaningful, high quality, and full of hope. Go to angel.com/Lara. Join the Angel Guild and stream Young David today. Plus, get 2 free tickets to David this Christmas. MyPillow is excited to announce they're having their biggest 3-in-1 sale ever with a limited edition product, a back-in-stock special, and a closeout deal you won't find anywhere else. MyPillow bed sheets only $29.88, any color, any style, and any size, even kings. The regular price is $119.98. Now they're only $29.88. And once they're gone for good. My towels are finally back in stock, but not for long. Get a 6-piece My Towel set, regularly priced at $69.98. Now only $39.98. And for the first and only time, get their limited edition premium My Pillows made with Giza cotton and a designer gusset. Queens $17.98, Kings only $19.98. Also, for a limited time, when your order is over $100, you get free shipping plus $100 in free digital gifts. So go to mypillow.com or call 800-839-8506 and use promo code TRUMP. Use your promo code for the best offers ever. Quantities are extremely limited, so order now. That's promo code TRUMP. Can you interview Kai? We all love her videos. Oh, well, stay tuned. That's coming very soon. Maybe not specifically right here, but I think you may be able to tune into Fox News for an interview with Kai Trump. I'm really proud of her. You know, next week she's playing in her first LPGA event, and I can only imagine the pressure of that sort of thing. You know, we all deal with a lot of pressure and stress and that sort of thing in our family. Maybe it's just, it comes with the territory, but it's a different kind of level when you're a professional athlete, which, I mean, I guess that's what you would consider her, playing in an LPGA event. I know it's a big deal for her, so I'm wishing her luck, and I'm going to try to catch her right on the tail end of that and get a whole breakdown as to how that was and how it all is. I mean, it's funny because she does remember a time before Grandpa was president, but she's sort of grown up with him as president. The first 4 years, then we had the break, and now, you know, right now as a senior in high school, that's kind of crazy to have your grandfather as president of the United States. So yeah, we all love Kai. Isn't she so great? I was so proud of her too at the RNC whenever she took that upon herself. She said, no, I want to go out after my father-in-law was shot. She said, I want to go out on stage at the RNC, and I have some things I want to say. And that was sort of everybody's first introduction to Kai. And I think she's only grown from there. So very proud of her and very excited to talk to her. So stay tuned. I'll let you know more about that coming very soon. Okay. Next question. What did you think of Fetterman after interviewing him? Do you think he's really a reasonable Democrat, or is he trying to be moderate because he fears PA is turning into a red state? I got to be honest with you, really enjoyed John Fetterman. Really enjoyed him. First of all, I had a conversation on the phone with him before we even established this interview was going to happen. And I appreciated that, just to kind of get to know one another and say hello. And it's so different. I wish we did more of this because it reminds you that everybody is a human being. And I feel like the way there's so much kind of like vitriol and hatred in our American political system right now, we got to remember that everybody is a person and a human with a family and whatnot. And it was so nice to first connect with him on the phone. And then obviously I went to do the interview with him in DC at his office. And his team was so lovely, so accommodating. In fact, if I may brag on his whole team for a second, I wore a pair of pants that day. Turns out there was a little bit of a hole in the pant. Now stay with me here. I went to 2 CVS's to try and find a sewing kit. I don't know what's going on in Washington, D.C. There are clean out of sewing kits at every CVS. And I went to a Whole Foods. Nothing there. Forget it. Don't even try it with them. So I show up at the Senate building and I get to his office. And as we're, kind of getting prepped for this interview, I casually mentioned to his team, like, hey, if you happen upon anyone with a sewing kit, I got a little hole that I would love to sew up. Do you know that like 10 minutes later, his team shows up and they got it from some other Senate office there. Like, oh yeah, we're all on a text chain with each other. We all kind of, help each other out when we need stuff. I don't even know where this thing came from, but thank you to Senator Fetterman's team. Sewed it up myself in the bathroom there. That's right. More to come on that. But I thought he was great. And it's very refreshing, I think, to have someone who is willing to just say what is right and do what is right and, come at you from a place of common sense, remind you of anybody else. I don't know, like a Donald Trump who doesn't care what anybody else has to say about it, who's going to do the right thing. It's really amazing because I really feel like John Fetterman and my father-in-law have more in common than they do different right now. John Fetterman has more in common with Donald Trump than he does with anyone in the Democrat Party right now. And that's pretty outrageous. If you think about 2022 when he was running for Senate in Pennsylvania, a lot of us were like, what is with this guy? Like, we don't know about this. He seems very fringe. Not fringe at all. Common sense, wants to do the right thing. And he also had very kind things to say about my father-in-law and about, Trump voters. He says we should never be calling people names. That's outrageous. Most of his family, he said, voted for Donald Trump in all elections. And so I really appreciated him sitting down with me, and I would love to do more of that. I would love to have more common sense Democrats willing to sit down and talk about the issues and just be real. And again, be common sense. That's all we want. Is that such a big ask? I don't think so. So a big fan of his. I thought he was great. All right. Last question. Can you make a Trump candy bar? I would love to hand that out to my liberal neighbors next Halloween. We got them. And here's what they're going to love about them. If I assume it's on trumpstore.com. We have, it looks like literally like a block of gold with like Trump on top of it. So if you go to some Trump hotels, I think the one in Vegas has them all the time when you're out there. But I think you go to Trump store, you can order an entire case of these things and it looks like Trump gold bars. What would blow the minds more of your liberal neighbors than literally handing them a Trump gold bar and then it's just pure chocolate goodness on the inside? That's right. Yeah, I love that idea too. If we had any kids who came around our neighborhood, I would start handing those out. That is actually a great idea. But maybe I'm going to suggest to Eric that next Halloween, all of the hotels hand those out to the trick-or-treaters and advertise them. And then maybe people can pick them up and leave them just casually on the doorstep of their liberal neighbors. Just a little trigger for them. Something early in the morning to really start their day off right. All right, that's going to do it for us for this episode of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning. Thank you for these questions. Please send us more under this episode at any of our social media. And please make sure you like, subscribe, share, and follow. We'll see you back here next time for more of Lara Trump Wanted for Questioning.